Okay. So if this is representing a halt here, I know that I have to wait. Anytime that I see price with a rejection, I immediately want to turn here. I want to turn here because of the fact that I want to see if that volume has decreased or increased, or in this case, is in neutral. Neutral is just is a stop sign for me as much as a reversal. Because do we trade on straight lines? No. So if
No.
I don't trade on straight lines of any sort, especially on the momentum, I can't. I don't have a trade. This is an indicator that shows the movement of price over time. So if this is a flat line, this means that price movement has halted. Y'all feel me?
Yes.
This gives me a reading of strong movements of price. And if I have a sharp downward movement or upward movement, I also know that there's an increase in volume. So see here at its arc as it moves to the next period. Look at my crosshairs and see how this just comes here, and we see that in this period an increase in volume versus here, right? So increase in volume, and then price continues to move upward. See, I have a flat line here, right? Or a flat top candle here, and see how price reverses. And then I have more money here, and then I have a sharper reversal. See how this is a little round here? Look here. Even though I have a flat top candle, there's not a lot of money here. But you see how sharp this is, and see how much more money this is here?
Yep.
So this is giving me a pretty good accurate reading of increase in volume, decrease in volume, the strength of the movement of price. Any questions on the momentum?
Derek, I got a quick question now. Does the momentum lag as much as the um, indicators, like the histogram and the MACD and stuff on the regular
No,
chart? No?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right.
And look, I mean, and I like the question, but we just showed, right? It, see this rejection here, this sharp rejection. Let's go back to the line chart,
Yeah.
right? And if
Yeah.
I put my, see how it matches up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the stochastic. The stochastic indicator is a technical analysis tool that compares the current price of an asset, its price range over a set period of time. It also can predict trend reversals. Now, a little more technical here on the stochastic. it uses two lines, the K percentage line and the D percentage line. The K percentage line is this green line here. This line predicts buys, right? The D percentage line predicts sales. At the end over here, whichever line is on top is the trend that it represents. Sort of like the TDI.
Did you say that again, Derek? You said the K is the green?
Yeah, the K percentage line is the green line, which measures buying trends or predicts buying trends. And the D percentage line is the red line, which predicts selling trends. And whichever line is on top is the trend that is representing.
Thank you.
Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze. Okay. So also too, the same science about the space is also the amount of volume that is being used, right? Okay, so we have a measurement of volume, right? We have a measurement of momentum, and this is why we use this entire chart as one big indicator. This is why it's so important that if you have divergence on this momentum, that you do not have a trend or a trade. If you have divergence on the momentum chart itself, then you do not have momentum and a trade. You don't have either. Can our normal Forex chart override the momentum chart? No. But if you have divergence, and y'all, listen, there's only a couple people on this call right now that understand what I'm about to say. I don't want you guys veering off in the weeds about this thing. I'm just giving you information. This is part of the information that I do not want you guys to use as a group. There are a couple of you, Greg and Kim and others who have been trading with me for a while, understand how to use this. The rest of you, I'm giving you the information. It's sort of like when my grandfather was teaching us to hunt. He had a custom shotgun. Beautiful. I was 7 years old. And he was telling me how to use it and all that. And he said, but you ain't got no business messing with this right now. We'll revisit this when you're 13. But my uncle took me out hunting, duck hunting. And he brought that shotgun. My grandfather wasn't with me. I told him, hey, can I shoot that? I think I was 9. And he laughed. He said, yeah, sure. So I held it up in the air and I shot it and it knocked me right on my ass. And he took the shotgun from me and he said, didn't Papa tell you not to shoot this shotgun? And I'm laying on the ground. Yeah. And he stuck his hand out and pulled me up off the ground. And he was walking. And he said, you know, man, it's okay to want to be a big boy. But there's a time and place for it. So it's okay to gather all the information It's okay. But there's a time and a place to use it. So I just want to preface that by what I'm about to say. If you have momentum, if you have divergence on the regular Forex chart, this can override that. If all these indicators as a whole are agreeing, then I can override it. But I know how to do that. Kim, I thought about something, and I'm thinking starting in January, I just don't have the space for it right now, but starting in January, I'm going to do a night owl session on a Saturday night or Friday night. I haven't made up my mind yet about I want it's going to be called an I want more session.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who go, I want more. I want to be better. And I'm going to make that session so inconvenient. I'm going to probably start it at midnight.
Yeah, because if you really want it, you're gonna be there.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I'm serious.
No,
when I was in real estate, there was a guy that I followed really closely. And he would call me at 12 o'clock at night. Hey, I'm meeting at the Denny's in Sugarland. You know where that is? I said, yes, sir. I said, oh, so what day are you going to do it? He said, no, I'm doing it right now. So
yeah.
I would go, and it would be like 6 or 7 of us. And he would talk to 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. But some of the information he would get, he wouldn't do at his regular seminars.
Oh yeah, that's the best information during that time.
And then I would say, well, why? Later on, as he and our relationship got close, I said, man, why would you do that? He said, man, there's a whole lot of people that really mean what they say when they want to do something until you give it to them.
Hey, Derek, that's just like when I was doing medical training. The doctors would say it's when you have to get up in the middle of the night, go to that OR and save that life. That's when you learn how to be a doctor. That's when you learn. That's that off the clock knowledge that you'll never get in a book or during the daytime. It's when you have to jump in and get it.
Absolutely. And that's why I changed my philosophy about demo accounts versus, getting in and just using a 10-cent lot size for a while. Y'all, I'm going to tell you something. You're probably not going to believe it. Do you know when I was coming up, I never used the demo account? I never did. Now, that's going to be hard for some of you to believe, but I was a guy that, hey, I love the contact. But I wouldn't do a dumb shit. Now, did I blow it? I blew a couple accounts for sure. I wasn't immune to that, but that's all I blew. I got on risk management real quick. And I think a lot of it being in car sales and being in management about watching money really helped me. That's what I say, man. Sometimes you got to just go through it. So, Kim, when they talk about, hey, you need to be 35% of your comp and all that, by the time I got into this business, I understood all of that.
Right.
So, this can override divergence on the regular chart. Now, that's a bullet in your in your gun belt that I don't want you to use right now. Now, you could use it if you feel confident. But see, it was a lot of people, and I didn't ask you this question last night for me to turn around and beat you over the head with it today. That is not what I'm doing. I'm pointing out a true fact. There's a lot of you that talked about getting out of the trade based on just fear alone. Kim, when you fucking around with diversions, you can't be scared.
Nope.
Because diversions is a black hole that will take you into the abyss that you couldn't recover from fast enough. So when you're using this, you better be fucking right. So back to this stochastic. And God bless Miss Connie. Miss Connie gave me a hooked on phonics in Vegas about how to pronounce this. I would trip up over this and she'd say, Derek, think about the stove. I'm going to the stove. It's stochastic. I go like, okay. Because it was getting on her nerves that I was
Yeah. Yes, he was tearing it up.
So the stochastic is important. The reason why it's important is because of the fact that the stochastic will give you the overall trend. Well, Derek, there's divergence here. Yeah, there is. Well, let me show you something. See this? That's the 50, right? See this? That's an upper movement. But we have a disagreement with price here. Most cases, the 50 and the stochastic are going to match. There's a nugget there. In most cases, the 50 and the stochastic are going to match. Now, on this stochastic, what's it saying here? If we believe that the further apart these lines are, that means the stochastic is also measuring an increase in volume for the upper movement. So I probably could have two trend lines here. I have an element of rejection with consolidation here. I have price rejection, and then it continuing, coming back and continuing on this downward movement. So I could do a second trend line here. Boy, people going to hate they missed this class this morning. So what do I have here? What is that? What is this? Apparently my Zoom is not working. What is this?
Are you talking about a
Are
flat top candle?
are you talking
I'm
about a flat
driving.
top bearish candle?
Let me do it again. What is this?
Significant line of structure.
It is a retest.
Yeah, it's hitting that trend line. Yeah, okay.
So I have an upward movement here. I have a retest,
So you
but
saying he got inflammation in there?
I still
you got like an impinged nerve.
look, y'all. If you're gonna come off the mic, turn that other shit down. It is impossible for you to understand what I'm saying and listening to something else at the same time. That's crazy. So, what I'm trying to show you guys is the fact that the 50, right, and the stochastic are going to align in most cases. In most cases. In this case, this money here returned. But I had a retest here, and that's the reason why I was able to draw the second trend line. Even though this shows to be a downward movement, it is not trending in a sell yet until price crosses the 50. I can have price come back across this trend line here, but it does absolutely nothing until price breaks the 50. Well, Derek, why is that important? That is important because so far the stochastic says that this is still a buy. Y'all feel me?
Yes, sir.
So, however, this entire chart is one big fat soup of diversions. Why? Because the RSI is going in another direction. I have flat line on the momentum, but I have an upward movement on the stochastic. The stochastic has not given us a signal of reversal yet. You got me?
Yes, sir.
So the stochastic indicator is a technical analysis tool that compares the current price of an asset, its price range over a set period of time. Is used to predict trend reversals. Does the stochastic at this particular point giving us any indication right now that price is changing? No. It's also saying that volume may be increasing for the upper movement.
Yes.
Now, the theory in this, and Kim, this is really strong. Is this telling me, and this is an answer that I don't have, but I think it's a fascinating question. Is the stochastic giving me overall volume of buyers and sellers? Or is it just giving me overall volume on the trend that it's representing at that particular point? And the reason why I asked that question is because of the fact I'm getting both signals at the same time. That's fascinating, right?
Yes, it'll make you think on that question.
So am I getting total number of the total number of absolute volume, meaning buyers and sellers, or am I just getting volume for the upper movement? Because in this case, if you come back here and look at this, the K percentage line on the RSI is just a hair over the D percentage line on the RSI. I don't know if you guys can see that on your screens, but it's barely over. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So am I getting combined volume? Am I getting combined momentum? Because on the RSI, we're measuring total momentum as it pertains to price over performance, whether it be being overbought or being oversold. Here, it's right in the middle, right? And there's absolutely no space in between. Now, if you look at this, that's why I can look at this stuff all day, all night. If you look at this, does this not represent price inside of this cone?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty tight, right?
Yep.
But that's why I say, because the measurables are so close, if you have divergence on the momentum, you can't trade at that particular time. Y'all feel me?
Yes, sir.
This chart right here, and I'm talking about me as a trader. Now, Kim, you know what I was thinking about the other day? And this is the true thing.
Uh-huh.
There's a difference between an analyst and a trader.
Okay.
They're not the same. An analyst is what I've been doing here for the past 50 minutes. A trader uses an analyst to go buy shit, sell shit. You, as a retail trader, you have to be both.
Yep.
And you can't have one without the other. So an analyst gives you reasons for buying or selling. And the trader just goes out and buys and sells. The trader part of you goes out and makes those relationships with bankers and other traders and stuff. An analyst is an analytical egghead that sits in an office somewhere and thinks about shit like what we're just talking about for the past 15 minutes. And the only other person that understands him is another analyst. Y'all feel me on that?
Yes, sir.
Here's the conflict with retail traders. A lot of retail traders don't know how to shut off the analytical part when it comes to buying and selling. It's almost like you're two different people. Y'all feel me on that?
Yes, sir.
Because I have to, the analytical part is supposed to be the reasonable part of yourself, right? But too much of that will stop you from trading. Y'all feel me?
Will we also call that overthinking?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Overthinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That has to be me, Derek. That's exactly what you're saying. That has to be me.
Okay, but I'm not telling you not to be analytical. I'm telling you to turn it down.
Right. I do understand that, because I'm telling you that because my son came in, looked at these charts, and was all over it. He's done no trading, nothing. But he thinks differently than I do. And I'm like, well, why? But why? And he's like, Mama. So I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I feel like
because
that's
the
me.
mentality of the trader part, that's the killer.
Right.
That the trader is the one that, says, all right, we're buying, we're selling. But a lot of you will leave that analytical dial turned up, which feeds fear.
Yes, that's the word.
So that's why I say, when you get into a trade, one of the things that you have to think of with all the technical analysis that you're looking at is that very important grade of probability. What is the probability of success here? And that's all we probably need to analyze at that particular point. And whatever your grade needs to be in your head, your grade is different than my grade.
Yeah.
Right? And whatever that is, and you determine, okay, I'm getting in, then the analytical part is over. It's being passed on now to the trader.
Right, because you said don't pay that much attention to the stochastic, and I'm like, oh my God.
No. Ain't what I said. I didn't say don't pay attention to it. Let's go back.
Don't worry about using as much. Okay.
I'm saying that this whole entire chart is an indicator. Each one of these has equal value. Each one has equal value. Now, we got that 1% that's left over. And I usually put that 1% in the momentum. This stochastic has its place because of the fact that it could predict out of these three which direction price is going.
Yeah.
One is not more valuable than the other, except what I said. If I have 1% left over, I'm probably going to put it in the momentum column. Why? Because the momentum measures exactly what its name is: momentum and volume. So if I'm having a increase in momentum, I have to have an increase in volume. So remember that thing that we added to our order of operation. I still have to locate price. I still have to locate support, resistance, and structure. And I have to determine if volume is increasing or decreasing. And then, of course, indicators. So there's 4 steps, actually 6, but, I'm talking about question 1A and 1B on the first. But there's 4 questions in the order of operation that I have to determine. On that third, and here it is, Kim, something that we've never done before. I always made this asterisk to go by. But I'm telling you, when you are determining the increase or decrease of volume, you have to visit the momentum.
Okay.
You have to. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're doing analysis, and we're going to wrap this up, when you're doing analysis, your analysis on the trade shouldn't take more than 3 or 4 minutes. You ladies out here with your big brains, Miss Christy, Miss Claudia, Miss Carol on here, Tammy, all you guys that's sitting up here, we got physicists in here. We got all kind of scientists, and Miss Christie is a hell of a salesperson, and all that stuff. But you guys got to learn how to turn. When it's time to get down, you have to turn that analytical thing off, and I know it's hard, but you got to train yourself. If you're looking at a trade and it's taking more than 5 minutes, it's time to go do something else. Step away from it. Sometimes I'll stand up and I'll stand back from a trade. Because sometimes when I'm right up on it, I can't see it. Greg, it's sort of like when I'm trying to measure the grain on a putt.
Yep.
Sometimes I got to step back from it so I can see it.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes when you're standing right on top of it, you can't see it. You can't see the break.
Nope, not at all.
Jack and Tiger were the best.
Absolutely.
So if you're sitting here studying a trade, now, let's back that up for a minute. There's a caveat to that. If I'm sitting here looking at a trade that's not ready to get in, now that's different. If I'm putting it on the watch list and I keep coming back to look at, that's different. But if I have a trade that's ready to go, and I'm taking more than 5, and I'm at there, and I'm at minute 12, 13, 14, you don't have a trade. Kim, you hear me when I say that?
Yes, I got you.
Kim has a really big brain too, and part of her development was understanding that she did overthink things, which I think is an overused term. Yes, I said that. I think that's an overused term. I've said it too much. But when your profession, your steady Betty, requires you to be analytical, when you get to working, it is hard to turn it off, right? Right, ladies? It's hard to turn that shit off.
Right.
However, you overthinkers, that also leads to paranoia. And paranoia leads to you standing in thigh deep, unnecessary thought. We either got to trade or we don't. And if we do, okay, when do we get in? Where do we get in? When do we get out? I should know that unless I have identified a long-term trade. But if I'm looking at a standard Forex pair and I'm seeing structure and I see price passing that point of structure to where I could get in, then my exit should be the next line of structure. Y'all feel me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's just that simple. If I know when I'm getting in, I know when I'm getting out. Kim, when I realize that, oh shoot, a good trader knows when they're getting in and knows when they're getting out. So if you going out with the girls or the fellas, and you tell your wife, you tell your husband, hey, I'm going to be home at 12. And every time you come home, you're home at 11:58, you become reliable. But if you walk it in, you say you're going to be at 12 and you walk it in at 2:30, 3:30 all the time, you become unreliable and you become single really fast. In this case, if you use that analogy, you will start breaking accounts. And your trading will be up and down if you don't realize or be able to locate structure, and especially if you cannot identify the rise and lowering of volume. If I'm coming up against structure, here, right? I see price here and I'm coming up against structure, and I can't recognize that I have to get out here or at least put in a trailer stop. Well, look what this dude does. It takes half your freaking money. Because most likely, psychologically, you go, oh, man, I got to get that money back. Well, how the hell you going to do that? Unless you put enough money in this trade to influence price. If I see this upper moving here and price is coming up here and I'm coming up against structure, then if I see a decrease in volume, I have to consider at least putting in a trailing stop. But that's another class. Any questions on the momentum chart this morning or this afternoon? Kim, I always know when I've gone long in this class.
Oh, right.
Because the sun starts coming in and shining in my face.
Oh, okay.
All right, everybody. Night Owl tonight at 10 o'clock. Great class. I'll see y'all tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Great nuggets today.
Outstanding.